All right, good morning, good morning. I am super excited of what the day holds. We're just a few days past stage 5 of the Bass Pro Tour here on Kentucky Lake, and it is summertime ledge fishing. My favorite time of the entire year. All of these fish that have been spread all throughout the lake are in small little bitty schools, concentrations in small little bitty areas. What I want to showcase are some of your slower, more finesse-y techniques. So we're gonna sneak some big baits around through some of these schools and see if we can't catch us some. So we've made several stops this morning. We finally located a small little school here. You can see they are really grouped up tightly together there. That is exactly what you're looking for. Let's see if we can catch one of them. During the course of the week and over my experience, once these fish get a lot of pressure, a lot of times that can spook the fish. It can actually change the mood and spread these fish back out. So a Carolina rig and a jig as well are two great ways to get a lot of bites, big bites, but they're really subtle. They're very sneaky. We can kind of ease them into the school and get a few of them looking at it at one given time. I really like to set my boat up shallower, or at least at the deepest, the same depth that the group is currently sitting in. That way, once we start catching them, we're gonna drag them to the boat, but they're in the exact same depth as where we originally caught these fish. They're looking at our bait on every single cast, and once we find the particular bait that they want, I promise you they will let you know very, very quickly. So I encourage you, change baits, change techniques, do different things with the same baits until you elicit a strike, and then you can duplicate that. And if I can give you any one tip for offshore ledge fishing when you're talking schools of bass, it's not to spend long doing any one thing, any one place without seeing results. When these fish want to bite, I promise you they will. There is 50 to 80 bass right here in front of the boat. We've made several casts, probably spent roughly about 10 minutes here. There is no need to sit here any longer. Covering water is the name of the game in offshore school fishing. All right, here's a pretty decent looking school. Each one of these individual dots are all bass, and you'll notice they're all very uniform in their positioning as well as very close to the bottom. Generally, those are going to be much more aggressive and much easier to catch. With this Carolina rig, it is all about bottom contact. Now I've got a D-Shad on as my bait of choice, but I'm really wanting to make contact as hard as possible. There's a little high spot. We're kind of on the end of a little bar here, and you'll notice I'm moving this bait pretty quickly for a Carolina rig. What we're trying to do is to get a few fish together looking at my bait, and once that bait scurries away from them, usually one of them will have to take part in the action there. There's one. Oh, there's not a better feeling in the world than a good Carolina rig bite. Come on up here, buddy. Boy, he thinks he's a lot bigger than what he really is. All right. Boy, I am talking about down the hatch. Down the hatch, the D-Shad goes. Oh, that is such a fun bite. Such a great way, again, Sneaking a bait into these schools once they're pressured, once they've had a lot of pressure on them, is always a great way to generate a lot of strikes. That is so much fun. One thing that I'll always do, and it's something that will certainly help you, is as soon as I get a bite, set the hook, get that fish under control, I'll hit spot lock on our Quest, and I will pick a line. I'll follow my line into the water and get a line up. And you'll see this little clay point in the distance here. And I'm gonna make repetitive casts exactly back to where we generated that first bite. We were able to elicit a strike very, very quickly in this group. Now we have changed baits. We've done multiple different things with the baits that we're throwing. So I cannot stress enough, when you're doing things right, when your timing is right, they are going to show it, and it is going to be a lot of fun. But you have to get to that group. Staying on an inactive group is just gonna slow you down and take you that much longer to get to one that will bite. Let's talk about where to find these groups of fish here in the offshore summertime season. So if you'll take a look at our map here, this is Lake Master Mapping, and what you'll notice is we're at the mouth of a bay. We've got a major bar that runs almost the entirety out to the creek channel. Now, you can see this is a long tapering point, starts really shallow in 10 or 12 feet of water and slowly tapers itself out to 24, 25. These fish are sitting in about 14 or 15 feet of water right on the tip of this particular bar. And what's important about this is our current is running from the top of the screen down. So the current is actually washing, hitting this point and rolling over the top of it. These schools, they're ambush points where these schools live and get in the summer. They don't want to travel long distances. They want to sit somewhere and wait for the shad to be pushed to them. So this is a great place at the mouth of any bay where the current is going to hit that bar directly, somewhere that water is washing over and it's going to push the bait fish to them, and they're not going to have to hunt and search. Yeah, so current generation in offshore fishing is always very, very important in how they're set up. Always pay attention what the current generation schedule is. There is a range, there is a place that everybody gets really excited and happy about, and the fishing is usually at its absolute best. Oh my goodness, I have 6 or 7 of them. Every time I've moved my Carolina rig, they move with it, but they will not bite it. Oh. There we go, there's a bite. First cast on the jig after making repetitive cast with a Carolina rig. That is a prime example of changing the pace until you can generate a bite. Let's get back in there. See how they all got excited? They started to rise up. Now you can truly see a lot more. Now they're still staying close to the bottom, but they're actually up high enough for you to be able to see them. There's 2 or 3 going down on the jig now. What's interesting, bites have come dragging the bait. However, I've had to hop the bait to get the fish really excited. So it's almost like I'm hopping this jig up to draw everyone's attention. Once I know that one is looking at it, now I'm just gonna slowly drag that jig, keep it away from that fish that I know is sitting there looking at it. Oh, there's 2 or 3 going down on it. Oh, he's got it. That is now 2 casts in a row on our jig. It is so much fun. There is nothing better than a good summertime offshore jig bite. So much fun. Super healthy fish. They've had plenty of time to get fed back up. I'm gonna go through my breakdown of both my Carolina rig as well as my jigs for the offshore schools that we've been fishing today. So, something that I'm always going to start with, just as you saw today, that Yamamoto D-Shad, a fluke style bait. Here on the TVA, Kentucky Lake in particular, they are very heavily feeding on both threadfin and gizzard shad. I prefer a Ryugi bean weight for my tungsten weight here. You'll see what's really unique about that bean weight is it's actually keeping my line off of the bottom. So I like a 17-pound Seaguar red label to a 15-pound red label fluorocarbon leader. There are times when they want a bait with some action, give it a little different look, and I'll oftentimes go with a little 3-inch or 4-inch Yamamoto. This has got some kicking action to it. As I pull it, the bait's gonna rise up. I like to start with my Carolina rig, but if they won't bite it, if I'm not seeing the aggression level that I need to see, I will oftentimes, just as what we've done today, gone to a football jig. So this Buckeye Mini Mop is something that is very versatile. It's got both round rubber and silicone. This particular one is a 1/2 ounce model. I've also got one with a 5/8. I've generally got two styles of trailers. This is a Yamamoto Flapping Hog. You can tell very, very little action, kind of a beaver style bait, honestly. You know, if these fish were really aggressive to snapping it off the bottom, a lot of times I like our craw-style trailer. It just helps lift that bait off the bottom and give it a good swimming action back to the bottom. I'm throwing both of these on a medium heavy. I like a 7-foot 3-inch rod, medium heavy. This is a 4-power Dobbins Champion XP. Anything that I'm gonna drag is gonna be on this 734. And I've got it all tooled with Baits Hundo reels. We're ready to get back after them. I'm ready to go out here, catch us a few more. We are ready to get some more of these schools fired up. There we go. We did get one to fire. So something that's really, really cool there. Again, Carolina rig, been throwing a little D-Shad. We made a switch. This is a 3-inch Yamamoto. It's got a lot of little action. The second cast into the school, we got a good bite. So again, if it's not happening, you need to make a change, whether it be location, bait selection, presentation. They are going to tell you immediately once you make the right move, and you're gonna be able to generate a lot more bites because of it.